Today, though, there were celebrations for some yesterday as 1,700 criminals were released from prison early to free up jail space. There were scenes like this one outside Wandsworth Prison, leaving some people to call the justice system a joke. Amongst some of the prisoners released yesterday, there was a man who was jailed for 3 years after his brutal treatment of a 21-day baby who now suffers up to 40 seizures a day and needs round-the-clock care. A man who supplied a machete used to kill a 14-year-old. And a man who was sentenced to 32 months after breaking his partner's jaw, strangling her and threatening to throw acid in her face. The government said it's the right thing to do. It's difficult to agree with what the government are saying there, isn't it, when you read out statistics like that?
It's almost impossible, to be honest. I mean, I just think, you know, we've probably all seen those signs of jubilation and celebration outside the prison. But I just think, imagine if you are a survivor of, for example, domestic abuse, in a world, in a country where we're seeing crimes against women increase, not decrease, and you see those people celebrating with bottles of champagne. I mean, I think it's absolutely appalling. And I think that to me, something that always irks me, one of the biggest miscarriages of justice in this country is the fact that financial crime is always more heavily punished than things like that, you know? And the other thing is that there's apparently this rule whereby you know, if someone has stolen something, they're going to go to the top of the list of releases. But what they're not doing is looking back over the crimes preceding that. So, yes, the person might be released early on this, but they've also got a history of violence against not just women, but I'm just using that because we are seeing an increase. But I would like, actually, you know, I would like to find out, as regards financial crime, how many of those people who've committed fraud or something are still in the prisons. I do understand we're overcrowded. But there is something broken and it is not working. And I myself have a stalker who is in prison, who is being released early, and I am not allowed to see any of his mental health reports as regards the progress of his mental health. Apparently, when I said, will he be tagged, they said, well, that depends if his team think that's encroaching on his human rights. So this is what we're dealing with in this country, and I'm glad that we're talking about it. And I feel really sorry for anybody who's now living in fear because of these releases.
It's like you say, we're in this very difficult time. A spokesman from Downing Street has said with 300 places left, we have reached critical capacity.
I mean, I agree with everything Denise said, and I think, you know, violence against women is literally an epidemic. And to see those scenes is shocking. And I don't think it's hysterical to say that for so many of us, this country has never felt more unsafe. And just crimes of all kind of scale they're just so normalised, whether it's car theft or it's a watch being taken off someone's wrist. There's almost this narrative now where if you wear a watch in central London or a nice bag or whatever, well, the answer would be, well, why did you wear it?
Yeah, like it's
so
your
silly. I mean, everything is just, to me, is a mess. And I think I understand that what they're trying to create space, but, like, surely you could look at the deck of prisoners you've got, and surely there's people that could be released before some of these.
And also, also they're releasing them early because there isn't enough spaces. But how do they know that a lot of these prisoners aren't going to reoffend and have to go back in? I mean, it just doesn't. They're all of a sudden, they're all, you know, rehabilitated.
But the
and they're not
chances
going to
of
do it again.
reoffending we're seeing it more than ever.
Well, exactly, because one of the prisoners that I read about wasn't happy that he'd been released, actually, because he said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I only found this out today. They've given him 3 months' housing and then he doesn't know what he's going to do. So his only option then would probably be to reoffend, because then he's got somewhere to live and he's got something to eat and those things. I'm not saying prisons are like hotels. I'm sure that there's horrible things that go on. However, like you, I'm getting scared that everything feels out of control. And I feel like it's almost coming down to everybody's so scared of offending someone, of, you know, I feel sorry for the police because everything they do is pulled up. of, you know, well, they shouldn't have dragged them through the streets like that, or they shouldn't abuse that much. You know, there was a time, even when I was a kid, you know, I was terrified because my mum and dad would be like, if you're naughty, the policeman will tell you off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas now, even really young kids, teenagers, they don't care.
No.
There's no deterrent
But it's
out
like
there.
in school,
There's no
they've taken the boundaries away
There's
from the
no
teachers.
fear.
The teachers don't know what to do.
There's no fear of authority across the board, from parents, teachers, police, anything that can be in authority.
Yeah.
There is no fear of it anymore because we're not allowed to show it anymore.
I mean, there were various headlines this week that Estonia has offered to take some of the strain by using its spare capacity.
Wow.
So while prisons in the UK have been operating at a 99% capacity since early 2023, figures show Estonia prisons are only 67% full. So there was this option potentially to ship some prisoners off to Estonia. But it does beg the question then, are they doing something right in the first place that we're not doing right here?
Absolutely.
What is it? Why is it that their capacity
Or have we
is so
got
low?
more population, maybe?
And what
Well,
about Sweden, Christine? What's this?
Well, Sweden prisoners, they run an open prison system. So you don't spend time behind bars. It's rather like living in sort of assembled dorms from a school. But you're watched.
For
and you're-
low-level crimes?
Well, I assume so, absolutely, yes. But still, maybe something else works that we just haven't tried, because clearly every element of this system is failing.
They're
We're
not being
releasing
rehabilitated,
people.
are they? They're just not.
That's exactly it. And then, so the system within the prisons aren't even working to help those that maybe are genuinely sorry, that knew they made a mistake, they got into something they didn't want to do and they want to start a life again. Are we serving even those people right? And then, you know, that's aside from all of the victims right now watching what we just watched. It's extraordinary times, isn't it? And it's like you say, you feel it.
Feels lawless.
You feel it, and no one wants that.